Hello students, this is going to be a brief introduction video on how to do your free fall gizmo for week 5. Now you'll notice on the screen on the left I have the gizmo assignment form pulled up, and then on the right I have the actual gizmo itself pulled up. And at this point, students, you should have your Explore Learning Gizmo account set up. If you don't, there is an information piece right here under Finding the Gizmo. You will need a class code in order to create this account. So just make sure that you get that done, but you should have it done already because we have done a couple of gizmos so far this quarter. Now, similar to previous gizmos, this gizmo also has prior knowledge questions as well as a warm-up piece to familiarize yourself with the gizmo itself. And you'll notice on the right I have the gizmo set up the way that the warm-up states to. Actually, when you log into the gizmo and as soon as you launch it, it starts out that way, but you can also check the settings to make sure that it's where you want it to be. So it's talking about the shuttlecock, which is a common object if you've ever seen it. It's kind of like a form of tennis where you use a racket to hit it back and forth over a net. I believe it's called birdie. That's going to be the object that we start with. And its initial height is going to be 3 meters, and you'll see the 3 right here. So this is going to show you the height of the object. And then you have a canister of which you're dropping it in or through. And you can change the height in the middle piece right here by clicking on it if it were to ask for any other distance. And then for whatever is contained within the column that you're dropping it in, you can choose no atmosphere, you can have air, or you can have dense air, which is more air in a given amount of space if we're going to be technical. So since I have this all set up, you'll notice on the left side there is a button that says show forces on the object. And I do think that if you click on this, it might help you to visualize what you're seeing a little bit better. Because the whole point of week 5 is to talk about kinematics and the force application on these objects. So if I were to hold the shuttlecock right where it's at, you'll notice that we do have some arrows pointing down, and we have the start of an arrow just kind of sitting here. And the colors coordinate down here with the key. So the orangish red arrow to the left that's pointing down is your gravity, and it has a value. And then there's kind of a greenish black arrow that might just be my computer. It's more of a black color probably for everybody. That's going to be your total force. So that's your sum of all your forces. And then you have that purple arrowhead that's kind of right over the object. That's your buoyancy force. So it's going to tell you exactly what forces you have. And then I'm actually going to go through and do the warm-up piece. So if I want to drop any object in the settings that I have, and I have my forces shown, I click on this play button right here, and that'll drop the object. Once the object is dropped, you'll notice there's a time that it took for it to drop completely all the way down to 0. And then you'll notice that my force arrows have now appeared. And you can actually see what forces played a role. Again, the size of the arrow is going to tell you the strength of the force. And the direction that the arrowhead is pointing is going to tell you the direction in which the force acts. And then at the bottom you have a total force right here. You'll notice that on the right side you have the table tab, and you also have a bar chart and a graph. So if you want to look at your values in a different sense, you can do that. So with the table, it actually gives you the height at which the item would be at certain periods of time. It gives you the instantaneous velocity and instantaneous acceleration. Click on the bar graph. You'll notice that this has also other information where you have more of an average velocity or total velocity and acceleration. And then the graph tab is going to be what they wanted you to do for 2 here on the warm-up. If you'll notice, it says select the graph tab. That's going to be the tab they mean. And then it actually gives you a graph, and you can choose what you want the graph to show you, whether you want it to show height, velocity, or acceleration. So you can click on these and click to uncheck them based on whatever it is you want to see. And then also, if you are asked to take any snippets, I don't know if you've noticed, there is the option to take a snippet with gizmos. So if I wanted to take a snippet of the graph to put into my work, that's what I would do, is click on that, or you can take a screenshot, either one. So again, there's a little camera right here. And then you have this zoom in option if you want to look at the graph and further understand or see numbers that are playing a role in these scenarios. And then once you need to change objects or change anything else, click on description. That brings you back to the settings, and then you would have to refresh, which is this little reverse counterclockwise circle here.